Good day, my name is Sevan, also known as James Evans Bomar III. I am the author of The Code to the Matrix and the developer of the Resistance. I am here today to not only introduce myself, but to also go over a few things that we're going to be bringing to you. And I just wanted to say we are really enthusiastic about this moment and being able to bring out this information and also become present. As many know that I haven't really revealed who I am, but I've revealed, of course, what I'm about, which is the work, and what we're about, which is the resistance. And this will be the next phase of what we intend to bring everyone, which is live video of all the different interactions that take place and also the acceleration of the body. And so that's something that we want everyone to look forward to, and we're definitely looking forward to it as we continue to go into this 2010 and go into Ascension. But we intend for everyone to have that same experience, and by showing the multiple ways in which it could be accomplished and not just one. Not stuck to some type of dogma, not stuck to something that we can now identify. And that's the other part of the resistance is our data. We're using a cipher and a system that allows us to be able to analyze everything that comes across the portal to be able to determine where exactly it's coming from. And this seems to be a new expanse for majority of the individuals on the planet, but still to understand that there's a faction that has always looked at the intelligence of other life and exactly what frequency it's on. And those individuals are referred to as being in the know. And so what we want to do is we want to bring everyone current. We want everyone to be in the know. And so this next format of what we're going to be presenting here is going to be about that. And I want to say this because a lot of things have definitely happened, and I see everything as far, especially if it's the past, as for a bigger reason than sometimes we can even calculate. We do use the Most High as our focal point, beyond names, numbers, and geometric shapes. And that just disturbs many people because there are other factions that are here seeking to allow man to be usurped. One would have to understand that there is a humanoid faction that is in the greater interest of this species to see it go into the higher reaches of its existence and what it's capable of doing. Meaning that, so this human that you see on Earth is likened unto other human beings that exist on other galaxies and other systems, and we're all beautiful. When you really care for yourself, you care for everything that is a part of you. And so that's why we've chose to manifest into this reality at this time, because the very key point, this is the year of the light. And we could just say Venus, if people would just sit down and look at certain things, like look at the Zeitgeist situation, for instance. When Zeitgeist first came out, of course, it was like a big thing. But it's known that the companies that funded Zeitgeist were the same companies that they were talking about. And that's something that they even admitted in the corporation, because many of these guys are all in there, the same developers, same executive producers, etc. But then to see how the second one seemed to be pointing the finger back on the humans, addendum, it's the humans' fault, and the solution is the Venus Project. And then you see in the synchromistic circle how many different programs and things are related to Venus. And then you start to get it after a while when you start doing the research on Lucifer and Anna and Astaroth and the gate and where that gate was and the subsequent gates that were set up for these beings to come into our dimension, because they're next door, for better lack of words. And then there's, of course, a Martian connection, and then there's definitely a Zervan or Saturnalian connection. So this is what we're going to be highlighting from this point, and this is really what I could see as the cream of esoteric knowledge, because I could say from viewing, and a lot of people know how I feel about different people's work, not studying, not having the experience. This is of value because you can't explain spirituality to individual really anyway. But if you ever attempt to, you at least need to have the experience. There is a dark path that many tend to go down because they feel like, well, actually the dark path is just a lot easier. That's why they're always just not having the challenge. But we're not here to assassinate anyone's character. We're not here to get involved in the whole human experience from that standpoint of, I think this is what the person is doing, and we're functioning at the level of adept here. So what happens is that we understand how to traverse a dimension, and that's what we were going to be explaining to individuals that are viewing our work. But the main thing is that when you're capable of doing that, see, I understand many things about this system that I believe that many people are just totally clueless about. And that's a product of being inside of time and never stepping outside of time and seeing the macroscope. And what happens is that's why I spend a lot of time under this microscope, and I spend a lot of time in the telescope, so that way I get that whole training process going on within myself. My body personally understands how to see things all the way from the highest level to the lowest level, and how it all connects. And so what happens is that when individuals come to me and say, well, I don't believe that this person, and if they've already brought themselves out in a certain way or with a certain symbol, especially with symbols, because as an adept, you understand symbols before you understand anything. It could mean the difference between you getting into something that could alter your life completely versus getting the experience that you want. So the symbol does make a difference. And so when a person comes out and uses a certain symbol and they affiliate themselves with that, that's all that needs to be said. Now, everyone else that doesn't understand the symbol, though, could be like, well, I don't think that maybe you're correct about this. And the thing about it is, first of all, when the Code of the Matrix was written, which was now almost 2 years ago, or at least 2 years ago, maybe over, what was talked about in that book is actually manifesting now. And that is the sign of the type of communication that's going on that exists within me. It doesn't exist from an external source. First of all, you can't commune with the Most High externally. It's an energy issue. You only can commune with the Most High internally. And that is where that is where everything is structured. And a lot of books definitely testify to that. The temple, as they call it, is within the person. So anytime you go outside, expect to get the experience. It doesn't mean that everything outside is not supposed to be there and everything is done wrong. That's not the perspective. That's the limited understanding of the macro or the micro. That's not understanding how the fractal actually works, and how in some areas there's one particular thing going on, but the fractal is very big. It's, again, like the ant walking on the floor, and it doesn't see things. It's on another dimension. It doesn't see things the way we see them. It sees this floor itself as being flat, and he's traversing it. Meanwhile, we're on a whole different view. Like he's still trying to figure out where the door actually is, and he's using the scent and things like that, and we can see it. We can pick him up and put him right at the door. So that's the difference between what exists here and what people are fabricating, because what happens is that this is how you understand it. You can't see what's under the microscope until you use one, but other than that, people thought it didn't exist. And it's the same thing with the higher levels and the higher frequencies. You can't, because everything is fitted together in layers of frequency. One frequency cannot be perceptive of the other unless it's willing to change its frequency to that. And that's what keeps things together. So you can't be in low frequency trying to comprehend what's going on high frequency. You can't be in a state of materialism. And like I'm reading the minds of certain individuals, and I can see the house they want to buy. And seeing that's why they're willing to now turn their whole movement of esoteric knowledge into something of a mush, and walk away from what they've started and trade into sides that are offering all of the extra security that they believe that they want to have here, while they're holding on to their fleshly bodies, still not understanding that they never took their first, second, third, fourth, or 25th experience to be true, because that means that every time that you have an experience that's completely powered by you and not powered by some external source, you know from that moment that there's something special going on this planet. And that's what we come here to share, because that's what I personally discovered within myself, and turn me on to a whole different level of perception and a way of understanding exactly what's going on here, so that you are comfortable with living in the present rather than being in the past or in the future.